And I've always liked LeBron, but him being a bully, it turned me off, Dan. Going on Pat's show just bullying people. Because, LeBron, he's a control freak. He knows everything he's doing.
LeBron James just got absolutely flamed by Charles Barkley, and this time it wasn't another tired goat debate. This one got personal. We've heard Barkley go to bat for Michael Jordan for years, but what he said this time crossed way past basketball. He didn't just critique LeBron's game, he went straight at his character. He called him a bully. He called him a control freak. And the way he said it made one thing clear: after decades of giving LeBron his respect as a player, Barkley's view of the man himself has completely flipped. Something snapped, and Barkley isn't alone. Scottie Pippen jumped in too, throwing shade like he's been waiting for this moment. Now the old legends are lining up and nobody is holding back anymore. So what did Barkley actually say that has everyone buzzing? Why is LeBron suddenly catching smoke from Hall of Famers who once praised him? Is this legit criticism, or just another case of old school players hating on modern greatness? Let's break it down. It all started with a move that caught everyone off guard. Back in March 2025, LeBron went on the Pat McAfee show and decided to go straight at the media and not just random reporters. He took aim at Stephen A. Smith, the face of sports television. And if that wasn't enough, he also went after Brian Windhorst, the same journalist who's been covering LeBron since he was a teenager in Akron.
Like, I seen Brian Windhorst on one of these shows not too long ago. Says he's like my fucking best friend. These guys are just weird.
More than 20 years of loyalty, and LeBron blew that entire relationship up live on air. Charles Barkley watched it all unfold. And just days later, he sat down with Dan Patrick and delivered one of the most ruthless takes on LeBron we've ever heard. No filters, no diplomacy, no holding back.
They both had an awful week. LeBron, he's too big to be that type of bully. To bully Stephen A. and to bully Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst is a sweet person, man. He's just trying to do his thing. And I've always liked LeBron, but him being a bully, it turned me off, Dan.
Barkley finally said what he'd clearly been holding back, and it wasn't pretty. Think about this for a second. Barkley has always respected LeBron's game. He's defended him in countless debates. He stood up for him when other former players took shots. So this wasn't some random criticism, this was different. Barkley went on national television and flat out called LeBron a bully. Not that his jumper was slipping. Not that his defense was fading. Not that he was making bad basketball decisions. This was personal. He said LeBron's attitude completely turned him off. That's not basketball criticism. That's a grown man saying, I don't like what you've become.
And Stephen A. is a good dude, man. For him to react, LeBron, like I say, I blame him for starting the bullying, going on Pat's show just bullying people. Because, LeBron, he's a control freak. He knows everything he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows everything he's doing. He knew when he walked up to Stephen A. what he was doing.
And Barkley wasn't finished. Not even close. He came back around and hit LeBron with something even heavier, calling him a control freak. According to Barkley, nothing LeBron does is accidental. Every quote, every gesture, every camera moment, all of it is calculated. Barkley believes that when LeBron walked up on Stephen A. Smith courtside at that Lakers game, it wasn't some spontaneous emotional moment. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was sending a message. He was trying to intimidate. He was trying to flex power, and Barkley made it clear he's not buying any of it. But here's where this really starts to connect, because this didn't come out of nowhere. Barkley didn't just suddenly wake up in 2025 and decide he was done with LeBron. This has been building for years. When you go back and listen to what Barkley has said over the last decade, a very specific picture starts to form. And it has nothing to do with LeBron's stats or skill, it's about mentality. Barkley has never doubted LeBron's talent. That part is obvious. But he has always questioned his fire, that ruthless edge that separates great players from true legends, that killer instinct, the obsession, the willingness to sacrifice everything just to win. The thing that MJ, Kobe, and even Larry Bird lived for. Back in May 2023 on the Spit in Sheetlets podcast, Barkley put it as clearly as he ever has: there's a difference between being great and being relentless. And in Barkley's eyes, LeBron falls short on that second part. To owe him. LeBron's greatness is built on control, not obsession. On image, not hunger. On calculation, not fire. And now in 2025, it feels like Barkley finally hit his breaking point. The respect is gone. The admiration has turned into frustration. And Barkley made it clear he doesn't even recognize the man LeBron has become anymore. Something shifted. With more legends starting to speak up, the real question now becomes, has LeBron's legacy finally reached a point where even his loudest supporters can't defend him anymore? Because this time, Barkley didn't just question LeBron's game. He went after his mentality.
First of all, they're three of the greatest players ever. But LeBron's a nice guy. Nobody ever said that shit about Michael and Kobe. Nobody ever said, man, that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, they're nice guys. Nobody ever said that shit. Michael and Kobe, they were dangerous. They'd kill your ass. LeBron's great, but he's a nice guy.
He even called LeBron a nice guy, and that might sound harmless to casual fans, but in Barkley's world, the world of Jordan, Kobe, and straight-up basketball assassins, that's the ultimate insult. Because nice doesn't strike fear into locker rooms. Nice doesn't make opponents lose sleep. Nice doesn't carry that cold, ruthless instinct that makes teams feel defeated before the ball is even tipped. Nice means you don't have that edge. And Barkley didn't stop there. On that same podcast, he dropped a line so blunt, so savage, it made the internet freeze for a second.
He had to learn to be competitive because the killer instinct is not something like I've never, and Michael was one of my best friends ever, and I got to know Kobe a little bit. They will kill you to win. LeBron, he wants to win. But LeBron at the end of the day is a really nice guy. So you can't learn to be a natural-born killer.
You can't learn to be a natural-born killer. That's Barkley's final verdict on LeBron. He's saying guys like MJ and Kobe were built different, born with an inner fire that can't be taught, can't be trained, and can't be manufactured. No matter how many hours LeBron puts in or how many trophies he stacks, Barkley believes that killer instinct just isn't in him. And if this were just Barkley talking, LeBron fans could brush it off. Maybe he's salty. Maybe he's bored. Maybe he's chasing clicks. But here's where it gets messy. Barkley isn't standing alone on that hill. Back in January, Scottie Pippen stepped into the ring too, and his words reignited everything. Scottie, six-time champion, MJ's right-hand man, one of the most ruthless defenders the league has ever seen. He sat down with Patrick Bet-David on the PBD podcast and dropped his own bombshells about LeBron's legacy. And this isn't some random hot take artist. This is a man who lived inside a dynasty, a man who knows exactly what championship greatness looks like from the inside.
Would you put yourself ahead of LeBron?
As a team standpoint.
Would you put yourself ahead of LeBron as a team standpoint?
My success as a team is more successful than LeBron. I got 6 rings.
And he didn't tiptoe around it either. Scottie made it crystal clear he believes he's been more successful than LeBron James. Yeah, you heard that right. A 6-time champion looked straight into the camera and basically said LeBron's trophies and records don't mean much if they didn't come with the same loyalty, hunger, and domination. And when Patrick Bet-David tried to push back, Scottie didn't flinch. He dropped a line that made every LeBron supporter freeze. I didn't chase mine. That one sentence landed harder than any dunk. Because what he was really saying was simple: LeBron moved around to build greatness. Scottie became greatness where he stood.
You want individual accolades or you want championships? Because I didn't chase mine.
And that wasn't a random comment, it was a direct shot at everything LeBron has done since 2010, leaving Cleveland to form the Miami Super Team with Wade and Bosh, returning to Cleveland to link up with Kyrie, then jumping to Los Angeles to pair up with Anthony Davis. Scottie's message was loud and clear: LeBron built the deck to compete. Scottie stayed where he was and earned all 6 of his rings through loyalty, grind, and domination. And this criticism isn't new. It's been simmering for years. Back in 2018, after Golden State swept LeBron's Cavaliers out of the finals, Barkley went on NBA TV and said something so bold people still quote it today. This wasn't a hot take, it was conviction. He was questioning LeBron's competitive heart. Remember, Barkley battled Michael Jordan. He felt that intensity. He knows what real killer instinct looks like. So when Barkley says LeBron doesn't have that same fire, he's not guessing, he's speaking from experience. And when LeBron went on the Pat McAfee show and went after Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst, Barkley said that moment confirmed everything he'd been thinking for years. To him, LeBron isn't trying to dominate through greatness anymore. He's trying to control the story. Barkley believes LeBron wants to own the narrative, shape the history books, and silence anyone who challenges his GOAT case. He called it bully behavior and he didn't hesitate. And Scottie wasn't finished either. In that same interview, he made his stance brutal and simple. LeBron and Jordan shouldn't even be compared. They're not in the same lane.
When someone like LeBron has to spread that out for 20 plus years, it's not the same drive. It's not the same fight. It's not the same hunger. And so when people try to make those comparisons of those two players, it's like talking to someone in the front seat and the back seat. They ain't even in the same lane.
According to Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan packed a lifetime of greatness into about 12 to 14 years. Pure domination, no coasting, no pacing, no load management. Just non-stop fire, night after night. LeBron took a different path. He stretched his greatness across 2 decades. He managed his minutes. He picked his spots. He played the long game. And in Pippen's eyes, that difference says everything. To him, Jordan burned hotter for a shorter time, while LeBron has been burning dimmer for longer. It's a brutal take, but it's one that's gaining traction among more and more old-school legends. The guys who grew up on blood, sweat, and pure willpower. To them, LeBron's greatness looks too polished, too calculated. Not raw enough. Not ruthless enough. And that's why the tension between LeBron and the old guard has never felt more explosive. They're saying the hunger isn't the same. The fire doesn't burn the same. Not anymore. So where does that leave LeBron James right now? Charles Barkley didn't mince words. He called LeBron a bully, a control freak. He said LeBron lacks the ruthless killer instinct that defined Jordan and Kobe. According to Barkley, LeBron isn't driven by domination, he's driven by control. Then Scottie Pippen piled on, saying his own team's success tops LeBron's because LeBron had to chase rings, while he earned his through loyalty and grit. For years, Barkley's been saying LeBron is too nice, too polished, too strategic to be mentioned with the true assassins of the game, and these aren't internet trolls. These are Hall of Famers, champions, men who carried dynasties on their backs. They know what pressure feels like. They know what separates great from untouchable. Now, don't get it twisted, the numbers are insane. All-time scoring leader, 20 plus years of dominance, 10 finals trips. Nobody can deny LeBron's resume. But what these legends are talking about doesn't show up on a stat sheet. They're talking about fear, about presence, about that cold-blooded instinct that makes the other team fold when it matters most. And by that standard, they're saying LeBron doesn't quite make the cut. Barkley says it's about edge. Pippen says it's about loyalty and grit. Together, they're telling the world LeBron is one of the most talented players ever, but maybe not one of the coldest. So now it's on you. Are these legends speaking facts? Or are they just old heads who can't accept how much the game has changed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, share, and I'll catch you on the next one.